The war has not ended, but getting started. This is the position of an Igbo lady daring Gowon, the Nigerian government and the British for the genocidal conspiracy against the Biafrans during this bloody civil war. The Nigerian government, the British and the entire world are yet to admit and accept that what transpired during the 1967 to 1970 Biafran Nigerian civil war was a genocidal attack on the indigenous people of Biafra. Let's listen to this brave Igbo lady and what she has to say as she open up the can of worms over the well-articulated, premeditated conspiracy to silence and subjugate the people who were only asking for equity, fairness, and justice for all. She maintained that despite the no vanquish, no conquest of General Gowon, the battle is just getting started. The battle has not ended. The battle now is being taken to the indigenous settlers of the same people who fought to silence Biafra. The battle is taken to their own communities. They are being dislodged and displaced. Of course, some persons might believe that the law of karma catching up on all that conspired against the annihilation, the starvation of over 5 million children is quite very regrettable. Let's listen to this brave lady.
57 years ago, Biafra Republic was declared by Odumegwu Ojukwu. 54 years later, the issues that led to the declaration of Biafra has not been settled yet. Instead, it has gotten worse. May the souls of Biafran women, children, men, and pregnant women that were starved to death in 1967 to 1970 genocide continue to seek vengeance against the Nigerian state. Until justice is served, there will never be peace for the wicked. Let it be on record that the genocide General Yakubu Gowon and the Nigerian state committed against the indigenous people shall never be swept under the carpet without repercussion. Congratulations to United Kingdom, United States of America, Federal Government of Nigeria, and Yakubu Gowon. It is 57 years already. 57 years ago, you massacred 5 million innocent men and children to keep Nigeria as one. You wasted 5 million Igbos for the Nigeria you and I are seeing today. But guess what? We are Igbos. We are unshaken. We cannot be broken. We are still here. You marginalized us because you want to make us weak, docile, and scared. You said as far as you breathe, Biafra will remain an illusion. You also said, instead of an Igbo man to become the president of Nigeria, let the rope holding the foundation of Nigeria collapse before your eyes. The creation of Nigeria in 1914 is only but a cost to the indigenous people, and these are the achievements of 1914 amalgamation so far. Lives perished, investments gone, and properties destroyed. Ojukwu knew that a day like this will come. In order to avert the unfortunate incident or for future occurrences, he asked for a restructured Nigeria. A restructured Nigeria that will permit each region to govern themselves and manage their resources while promoting autonomous society that fosters development and the maintenance of indigenous or regional resources geared at improving the lives of the people without external intervention. The Aburi Accord meeting was initially agreed by both parties. Gowon arrived in Nigeria, and the success of the meeting was truncated by Britain, the colonial masters. Ojukwu got frustrated. He declared the Republic of Biafra on the 30th of May, 1967. On 27 January 1968, Biafran currency pounds were printed by Odumegwu Ojukwu and was legal tender throughout the Republic of Biafra. On the 6th of July 1967, the war broke out. On the 13th of January 1970, the war ended and Yakubu Gowon declared or named the war "No Victor, No Vanquish" in order to promote reconciliation and healing, which never happened and never will it happen now. There was no healing, there was no reconciliation, and there will never be reintegration. May the soul of our internal leader, Dim Odumegwu Ojukwu, continue to find peace before God. If you are an Igbo man or woman, be proud of yourself, be encouraged, and always know this: the war has not ended yet. The fight is only getting started. I also want you to know this: the hatred they have for you is your strength, your hope, your voice, and your pride.
The war has not ended, but getting started. This is the position of an Igbo lady daring Gowon, the Nigerian government, and the British for the genocidal conspiracy against the Biafrans during this bloody civil war. The bloody civil war from 1967 to 1970. What led to the declaration of the Civil War was as a result of perceived injustice, killings, brutal killings of the indigenous people of Biafra, precisely the Igbos, across the length and breadth of Nigeria. Today prompted Dim Chukwuemeka or the Megwejuku to declare the sovereign state of Biafra if the Nigerian government and other ethnic nationality could not integrate the Igbos in the Biafran projects or in the Nigerian projects. Instead, let the Igbos go. Let them be on their own. If they are being rejected, as my people do say, Onyajoro adịghị ajụ onwe ya. This led to the declaration of the sovereign state of Biafra to preserve the lives, the prosperity, the cultural heritage of the Igbos. Today, where is the one Nigeria you fought to keep? One. The one Nigeria is a tax that must be done. Keeping one Nigeria one today, is that still fashionable? Is that the reality staring at all as sundry? I strongly believe by the submission of this lady, Gowon must definitely be ashamed or disappointed with what is going on. Today, Taraba is bleeding the hometown or the home state of one of the generals who fought against the Biafran state. In the person of T.Y. Danjuma, we know the role he played, of course, in the assassination of Agi Ironsi and eventually the bloody massacre and starvation of the Biafran children. But today, his own country home, his own ancestral home is lying in ruins. Unfortunately, people have been massacred. About 42 of Mosisent was reported in just the last weekend. It is very unfortunate, and this is an endless assault being rained on the indigenous people. Most especially the Plateau and Taraba states are having a fair share of this conspiracy that sought, unfortunately, to silence the Igbos, to subjugate the Igbos in the One Nigerian project. But today it is turning back to them. If they have admitted and allowed the Aburi Accord to have been implemented today, that would have been the only panacea to save the indigenous people of Plateau and Taraba, because they jettisoned the Aburi Accord agreement or treaty. That is reason why the war has not ended, but just getting started. It is quite interesting. For some, they believe the no victor, no vanquish was the end, but they never knew that the war is just getting started. Now, not just against the Biafrans, not just against the indigenous people of Biafra, not just against the Igbos. Despite the continued conspiracy gang up against the Igbos, the war is being taken down to the communities of these generals. Now, not the Igbos fighting them, but those who they conspire with to fight the Igbos are turning back to fight them, not just to fight them, to annihilate them, to take over their ancestral home. Is a very big shame and disappointment to these living generals who could not save their own people again. They are helpless over the situation, but that is just the reality. They could not even move an inch or a pin from saving their own people. What Taraba is facing today is very disturbing, especially the Christian. What Taraba is facing today is ethnic cleansing. Taraba by population is over 80% Christian predominant settlers, but today they are being targeted and killed at will. It's very unfortunate. This is the same Theophilus Danchima, being a Christian who fought against his Christian brothers, subjugated them today, must be living in regret of the current realities. On several occasions has called on the Taraba people, his people, to defend themselves against the terrorists, because there is no willingness or sincerity on the part of the government and its security operatives to defend the indigenous people of Taraba. The reality keeps staring at us as the escalations of the killing is becoming worrisome and a source of great concern for anyone who cares. But then, who really do care under the circumstances? Where is Theophilus Danjuma? Where is Gowon today in the light of the current realities? They may have been certainly living in denial of the realities. They possibly would have regretted if we have known. We wouldn't have discarded their prayer call that would have put a stop to this. Of course, Ojukwu saw the future, saw today, yesterday, but they never did. They were beclouded by the sentiments and euphoria of the selective excitement that they have subdued Biafra, not knowing that they really subdued themselves. They shot themselves on the head. Well, how do I know? Of course, the current realities, where you think you won the battle, the war, but you have lost the peace in your very abode, in your very communities. Today, people living indigenous, displaced people, of course, the internally displaced people keep growing by the day. Benue is a no-go area today. People have been massacred. The same Benue who conspired against the people of Biafra, the returning of fleeing Igbo young men and fathers were beheaded and, of course, transported down to the east. There was serious wailing and agony. People poured out their hearts in pain, in deep pain. Of course, no one could console them for losing their children. Some were rendered fatherless, childless as a result of this conspiracy.